Okay, so here's a condensed version of my update video on the project. A couple of people asked for it. I've got the pure sine wave inverter installed and running right now. Keeping some hot water hot in my little in-sink hot water heater. And I'll show you how this works. I turn in the water pressure and boom. And you can see the steam coming off that. That's hot water. I could make mountain house food if I wanted to, just right here anytime. Microwave works. I've got popcorn I just made. Bad news on this, I am not running full power out of this. So either the inverter, the battery juice, or the microwave. But like if the instructions on something say to run 2.5 minutes, I gotta run 5. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's a machine, maybe I'm not producing enough power. I don't know yet. But when I'm running that thing, the inverter is definitely not pushing its full 2,000 watts. It's running about 1,200. Fridge, fully functional now. And the cool thing about, once you set up your electrical system, yeah, you're spending money on the electrical system, but once it's fully installed and up and running, you can use regular household stuff. You don't have to use the RV specific stuff. Now, I'm using the old RV refrigerator location here. In theory, I could bury all the batteries, like maybe underneath the seat or something. But I wanted to have a ventilated area for this. However, those batteries are sealed batteries, so it doesn't really matter much. Those batteries I got for 80 bucks each from a place that buys surplus from hospitals, because the hospitals have to replace their uninterruptible power supply batteries every year or two by law. So brand new, those batteries are about 250 bucks each. They're PowerSonic 100 amp hour batteries. I can obviously fit a third one in here. If I were to use this area under here, maybe more, but the problem is I wanted to be able to get out everything from both sides. My charge controller down there tells me I'm at 94%, and even when I'm in here running a lot of stuff, that percentage doesn't seem to go down once the stuff's fully charged. I've added more panels, but not installed them. Okay, so what I have here, this is a 145 watt panel. I ran out of roof space when I did my calculations on how many more Harbor Freight panels I needed to add. Two things. One was money. It was going to take about another $450 worth to get where I want to be on power production. And it was going to take 9 more panels minimum. And my problem is there's weight up top that was starting to get this thing to be more top heavy than I really want to deal with. There's the mounting thing. There was the amount of room that I had to deal with, and I had enough money in the PayPal account to do some stuff on eBay. So I ordered one of these roll-up panels. That's what this is, 16-foot roll-up panel. There's a guy named Dan Rojas who has a YouTube channel called Green Power Science. He has a big review on those. I'd go to his thing if you want to see the big review on them. Problem is, they're really fucking long, and they're not going to work for my application. So I was going to use them as a carry-out system. I'm not going to do that either. They're for sale. And this is what's going to go on the roof. It's a 145 watt panel. The connector tips for these things, this is what they call a number 3 in the solar world. These are expensive. You know, kind of like those $3 ones that I showed you in another video. These little buggers are even more than that. And then those are the number 4 tips. They're like a click together, snap together type of deal. Those are really expensive. And to properly install a series of these panels, you need 2 of their specific Y connectors to get everything together, or else you just clip them and splice stuff. But the Y connectors are like $18 each. And that really starts jacking your cost on all this stuff. Those Harbor Freight panels, what makes them not so bad, if you have the roof space for them, is that they just have little like car stereo ring connectors on them. Now these little car stereo connectors I ordered from another guy on eBay. These are made for that 8-gauge cable that I talk about in another video. That's this stuff. You don't want to use cable that's too thick or too thin. I'm using 8-gauge on a few of on everything except for the battery to battery and the battery to the inverter stuff. Now the solar system to the grid tie is going to use this 8-gauge because that's only 300 watts. Okay, and those things easily handle that. The other thing is, personally, I think you want to go with the 8 gauge when you got a bunch of panels going together and you're starting to get up into that higher wattage thing. But I'm using those in a couple of parts of this. But those little 8 gauge tips, yeah, they're hard to find. You got to get a mail order, and I'm in Portland, Oregon, which is a major city. See what else is going on here. Yeah, everything else is running. I've got the battery chargers running right now. This is all pretty much it. It got dark outside, but you know, that's cool. I've got a lot of juice left. So that's the update right now, and we're all running relatively smoothly, except yeah, I'm not pushing enough power to get the air conditioner going, which should. You know, that's supposed to be a 12 or 1500 watt air conditioner. But it's not working. The microwave doesn't seem to want to do everything it wants to do. But when I was running a bunch of stuff simultaneously, I was able to get the output on this to go up to 1600 watts, which tells me that I didn't really need a 5000 watt inverter. But if you're trying to run a whole camp off of one inverter, yeah, it needs to be a lot bigger system. But anyway, we're going to wrap this little section up and talk about more another day.